What up, my fellow Knicks fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now, this will be my fellow Knicks fans. Protect yourself at all times, Volume 3. And this time, the media is still trying to force some dumbass trades down our throat. This time involving Russell Westbrook, even though he's in a supermax contract, and having him on your squad does not really equate to any victories. The media is just trying to make a moral case for the Knicks to take him just to be a relevant team. Now, I'm wondering, even though now we have a more established coach in Tom Thibodeau, could the Knicks actually have Russell Westbrook conform into a system, as Tibbs does have a track record of doing this to players and getting the most out of them. We've seen him do this to Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose. We even seen him when the Bulls were injured do this to Nate Robinson, which he had Nate Robinson performing at a really high level and was able to eliminate the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs. Now, Russell Westbrook in his past history has not been able to conform to a system. We've seen this play out in OKC with Coach Scott Brooks, and then OKC fired him and ended up getting another coach, but still, he was unable to conform to a system under Billy Donovan, in which they just let him run loose and do anything he want. Now he's in the Houston Rockets, and it's still the same situation, but this time he had to begin to conform, but now he realizes he's not going to win a championship with James Harden, so he might as well do him. So you guys check out this segment. I thought it'd make a nice backdrop, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Here's three reasons why Russ should go to New York. And I know, Kevin, he's not going to get a ring. He doesn't need a ring. Need to make the playoffs.
You guys hear that bullshit already? He needs to come to the Knicks. He doesn't even need a ring. What? Who goes after a max player like this and is not thinking to be the most successful that they could be? That's already a major, major flag right there. It just doesn't make any sense. And second of all, I'm wondering, the Knicks, do we even have the salaries to even match to get this guy on this crazy contract that he's under?
Haven't made the playoffs since 2013. For a personal goal, make an all-star team. As futile as the Knicks have been, they always had all-stars. Melo was making the all-star team. Porzingis made it. Tyson Chandler, Amari made it. Oh, whose music is that? It's an...
You know, that's not true, because we did go through a stretch before David Lee made the all-star team in which we had no all-stars, but yet the Garden was still able to sell out. And, you know, the Knicks were still able to do their thing. It just doesn't make any sense what this guy is saying. I'm not sure if he even knows his history here.
Guitar. David Lee even made it a few times. Actually, just once. Number 3, this is my personal favorite. The grudge goal. Stop Kevin Durant's New York City takeover.
That'll never happen. Unless Kevin Durant comes here on some Michael Jordan domination, that'll never happen. We even seen it play out in other sports throughout the city. We've seen the New York Mets in the 80s. They were more relevant than the Yankees, but still yet couldn't take over. And eventually, even after many years of the Yankees sucking and then end up becoming a good team again, they just were always the number one franchise. And then I'm eventually going to do a series on the branding that the Brooklyn Nets did when they first came to New York, in which they had to shake that New Jersey smell off of them. And then they also had their team look like a Boston Celtics cheap imitation, which is not good at all, especially bringing that bullshit to New York. It's very bad branding on their part.
This is the first time in a long time that the Nets have a real chance at taking mind share away from the New York Knicks. You're like, I don't know about that. How do you judge mind share? I'm glad.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, you could even look at last season. For the Nets to make all that splash during free agency and Kyrie Irving to be doing his thing at the Barclays Center, the Knicks were still more talked about.
Yes. The Christmas Day game, which will also be kind of like a de facto opening night of the season since we're starting on the 22nd. The Knicks own that game. They played it more than anyone else.
False. The Knicks do not own the Christmas Day games. That is false. I mean, if we did, they wouldn't have us play every time at noon. The very first game of the evening. That's unbelievable. But at the end of the day, to say that the Knicks should go after Westbrook just to get a Christmas Day game, come on, man. Like I said, the reasonings are never justifiable. Once again, first it was the CP3, we should go after him, and now it's Westbrook. Two players that are pretty much on the downhill of their careers, but yet making the most money that they ever made in their whole career.
Last year, the league was like, stay home, open some presents. They played it 53 times, and they didn't get it last year, and that proves that their star... But if we had a Christmas Day game, Nets versus Knicks, the Knicks' relevancy back up, and that's important.
No, the Nets' relevancy would be back up. If the Nets had a Christmas Day game against the Knicks, you would see in the arena itself, there would be way more Knicks fans there. That is a good look for the Nets. The Nets will get that marketing that they need.
You start to get a new generation of fans who haven't been alive in the 70s since the Knicks were relevant, Nick.
The Knicks were relevant way beyond the 70s. Once again, does this guy even know his history? So the Ewing days never existed? Come on, man.
Brandon, you go ahead, my friend. I'm going to wait to do some fake trades. So, Brandon, go ahead. I don't want to knock down Wild's Knicks stream.
See, Nick right here is trolling him because he understands everything that he just mentioned didn't make sense at all.
Well, Wild's Knicks stream is great, except you can't figure out who they're giving back. So go ahead, Brandon.
Exactly. I mean, who the hell are we even matching salaries to get Westbrook? But once again, Westbrook, man, his history is going to be, this guy has never been able to conform. But I'm wondering, under Coach Thibodeau, if we somehow did get him, if they could make it work, could he conform into playing defense the way Thibodeau likes guys playing both ends of the court? And could he actually make the younger guys better? Because Westbrook, man, he's been a dog without a leash. I mean, OKC, he's been allowed to go crazy with Coach Scott Brooks and also Coach Billy Donovan. So we'll see how this plays out. It is what it is. But yet, it's just another media firestorm, assuming that the Knicks are in the desperate side of a trade deal, trying to trade for guys who used to be good and are on the downside of their careers, especially injury-wise. And I'm referring to CP3 and, of course, Westbrook. So it is what it is. Until next time, y'all stay safe. Protect yourselves at all times. Peace.